Welcome everybody. So we're going to continue our series about how to save money on your build and eliminate unknown expenses or those hidden costs. And this is, whether you're building a spec home, you're GCing your old house, or you are going to hire a builder to build your home, this video is applicable for everybody. So the two things we're going to talk about today are going to be blueprints and dirt trucking and grading. Dirt trucking and grading might be kind of a boring seeming topic, but nevertheless, it's something that you need to account for, and it's something that can end up saving you money and definitely eliminating unknown expenses. Same with the blueprints. So let's get into it. Okay, here we go. So blueprints and dirt trucking. Let's start with dirt trucking. I know that's a stimulating topic, but again, it's something that can help eliminate unexpected costs. So you own a lot and you are, putting your pricing together, you're working on your floor plan. A lot of times the lot can end up being something that's an afterthought because you've already purchased it, you've went through that process, and now you're focused on the home, the pricing, the selections, things like that. There's an expense that you need to be aware of that your builder may or may not be accounting for. Or if you're building a spec home, this is something that your excavator is going to be charging you for, and you may or may not be aware of this, and that is dirt trucking. So if you're building a house on a lot and the excavator is digging out all of the dirt to put the house there, whether it's slab on grade, whether it's a crawl space, whether it's a full basement. And with the full basement, you'd probably have the most dirt removal. But depending on what the current elevation is for the lot, there may be additional dirt trucking that is needed. So the excavator may dig the hole and he may have to haul out up to 50 loads, 50 dump truck loads of dirt. Now, he's going to charge for that. He's going to charge by the hour, and if he's taking this dirt somewhere that he needs to actually get in a dozer and grade it out, to a fill site, he's going to have to pay for that as well. Or if he's just bringing it to a fill site, most of the time you have to pay the owner of the fill site to bring fill there. So if you can have your excavator come out to the property and take a look before you finalize your pricing, because that way you know ahead of time. Once you get a survey showing your home on the lot, once you kind of know what the size of your foundation is going to be, if you can give that information to your excavator, to your builder, and have them go and look at the lot and bring up dirt trucking. Like, hey, I realize that dirt trucking is something that may or may not be included with my home pricing. If it is included, is there a certain amount that it is included up to? Like us, for example, we include $1,500 for dirt trucking. Now, in some cases that'll cover it, but in some cases it can be $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000. And if nobody looks at the lot, we don't really know that we're going to get hit with that bill until the excavator's out there digging the hole. And what happens? He digs the hole, and he doesn't call to say, hey, should I move forward with this? I've got, a lot of dirt that I need to get out of here. He will just dig the hole and truck all the dirt out of there, and then a week later, we will get a bill, and we'll have our normal excavation costs in there, and then there's a cost of $6,000 for dirt trucking. Now, if nobody has looked at this up until then, and we only have $1,500 included in the pricing for this, that means that me, the builder, I'm going to have to go talk to you, the customer, and say, hey, look, we had some additional dirt trucking costs here. This is the bill from the excavator. Now, you, the customer, if you knew that ahead of time, before you finalized pricing and before you signed a building contract and started the construction loan process, that would probably be an amount that you would add into your pricing, so that you're not having to pay for it out of pocket. Or maybe you still decide to pay for it out of pocket, but who wouldn't want to know that ahead of time so that they can properly budget for it? So that's just one of those things to be aware of. Dirt trucking. Bring it up to the builder, find out how much is included in his pricing, have a contractor, the excavator himself, go look at the lot to determine what the potential dirt trucking cost could be so that you can add in the proper amount for that. Or maybe you haven't bought the lot yet. You can have somebody go look at the lot and they can say, boy, there's going to be a lot of dirt trucking that's needed. Or the opposite scenario, we're going to need to bring in 50 loads of fill. This lot is super low. Once we put your foundation in, it's going to be sitting 5 feet above the ground, and we're going to have to fill in around the foundation with fill. We're going to need extra stone. That could be even more than the dirt trucking. So before you buy the lot, if that's something that you could have somebody check out, and I have a mini course I just put out that I go through all of these topics step by step, things that can save you money on your build, things to look for before you buy the lot, or even if you own the lot, things that will help you save money and eliminate these unknown costs that can pop up. Blueprints. Okay, so this is definitely something that can have some cost ramifications if you are not making sure that the blueprints are exact. So you're going to get your preliminary design from the builder, and it may not be the full detailed set yet. And what I mean by full detailed set of blueprints is there's a foundation plan, there's an electrical plan. It's going to show the left elevation of your house, the right elevation, the front elevation, the rear elevation. And there's just going to be a ton of detail in this blueprint. That's a full set of blueprints. A lot of times we'll start off with a preliminary plan, which is basically just a nice overview of what the floor plan layout is, dimensions of what the rooms are, the overall square footage, and a front elevation. That's what I would consider a preliminary plan. Now sometimes your builder will be able to give you the pricing based off of the preliminary plan, and you kind of go through your whole process, you get your pricing together, and maybe the builder wants you to move ahead and, hey, let's get the contract signed, let's get the contract to the bank, we'll work on the full set of blueprints while the bank is doing their things. Now sometimes that's fine and there won't be any issues, but because there's not a whole lot of detail on the blueprint, if you're going to move forward and sign a contract without the full set of blueprints, and then you get the full set of blueprints, once it's too late to actually do anything about the financing or argue to the builder about what the build cost is, and now you get the full set of blueprints and you realize, boy, the ceiling heights aren't what I thought that they would be. They're 8 feet in certain areas. I figured that they would be 9 or 10 feet, or I don't have transom windows on top of the windows on the back of my home. You couldn't see that from the preliminary plan because there wasn't a rear elevation. So you want to make sure that once you get that full set of blueprints, everything that you're thinking you're getting, or everything that you're expecting to get, needs to be called out on that blueprint. Because if it's not going to make it into the home, and it's probably not included in the pricing. So if you're at a stage where you've got the full set of blueprints, and you still haven't finalized your building contract yet, that's great. Because you want to have your builder go through that blueprint with you, room by room, dimension by dimension, explain every detail in that blueprint so that you fully understand everything that's in that print. Here's an example. We'll use a tile shower in a master bathroom. You get the full set of blueprints, and you see a bench in the model that you're in. It's got a nice 4x6 tile shower. There's a nice bench in there. There's a nice cutout niche in the wall for shampoo and soap. And because you've been meeting there the whole time, and because there's a 4x6 tile shower priced into your pricing, and because your blueprint shows a 4x6 tile shower, you're under the assumption that that's what you're going to be getting, that 4x6 tile shower with the bench, with the niche. But if the bench is not shown on the blueprint, when the framer comes to frame the home, he's not going to frame in the bench. That's something that could get missed. You may not realize it until further down the road, and then at that point you're going to bring it up to the builder, and in order to get that bench built into the shower, you are going to be responsible in most cases for paying additional money to make that happen. And so that's something that you've already closed on the construction loan. You can't change the amount now. You can't negotiate with the builder, so you are going to have to pay for that out of pocket. So that's one of those things that can slip through the cracks. You see the tile showers there, it's called out as a tile shower, but if it's a 2D plan, there's really only just one extra line that's going to indicate and create the rectangle that's called out as a bench in the shower. So if that is not called out on your blueprint, it may not be figured into the pricing, and it probably won't get built into the home. And ceiling heights are another example of this. We had a house that we built for somebody, and I know you may say, you know, how could that happen? How could somebody not realize that they didn't have the proper ceiling height in their home? There's so much detail, dimension, and stuff going on in a blueprint, and you're doing selections and all these other things. A lot of times, and if you're not familiar with reading a blueprint, it's like a different language to you. And so you don't actually realize how that blueprint's going to turn out until the house is all done being framed and you're walking through it. So a couple walks into their living room and they say, this ceiling height is not correct. We thought we were getting 10 foot, and it was 9 foot in the house. It wasn't called out on the blueprint. So they never saw anything that said 9 foot to where they were, you know, red flag, like, oh, no, that's not the right height. Because the blueprints won't automatically have the ceiling heights on there. That's something you would maybe want to specify the draftsman. Please call out all of the ceiling heights, even in areas like the mudroom, laundry room, hallways, because those are things that can just come up to bite you in the butt after the fact. Because once the house is framed up, especially if it's a 2-story home, you may not be able to do anything about it. But in this particular case, it was a ranch home. And we were able to reconstruct the trusses and kind of rebuild them, which was a lot of framing and lumber. And this was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And it was $5,000, and we ended up splitting that cost with the customer because it wasn't necessarily our fault, and it wasn't really the client's fault. You know, so it was something that just there wasn't that you know, solid, okay, we're doing this here, ever really discussed there. So, and that's something that I've learned over the years because I was actually the salesperson that was involved with that. So that's something that I now make sure, okay, let's go through the blueprint, detail by detail, room by room, make sure that everything is the way that you think it's going to be. Nowadays, that same fix in the living room would probably be like, it'd probably be like 10 grand to do that. And if your builder is somebody that says, hey, look, you know what? We never discussed it. It's not on the blueprints. It wasn't accounted for in the pricing. The only way this is going to happen is if you pay for it. And that happens quite a bit. You're closed on your construction loan. The home's already being framed up. You really want that 10-foot ceiling, and you can't move forward without it. You're pretty much stuck now. You're going to have to pay that $10,000 out of pocket. So if you would have seen that on the blueprint or caught that on the blueprint before pricing was finalized, it's a whole different game now. It probably only cost the builder maybe $1,500 to change the ceiling height if we're doing it, you know, on the blueprint because we just need some taller studs. It's a very minimal expense compared to what it is to come in and basically remodel after the home is being framed up. So those are some of the things that I cover in my mini course. It's $49. Ton of value in there, especially if you're building a home. It's going to save you some money. It'll be well worth that. That's all I've got for this video. I really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the day and take care.